Modernist masterpiece, Bernat Klein's £18,000 studio rare Category A listed building in Scotland. Stop whatever you're doing. One of Scotland's most celebrated modernist buildings may soon be snapped up for about the cost of a used family hatchback. Bernat Klein's once vibrant studio outside Selkirk has just hit the auction block with a guide price of only £18,000. Yes, you read that correctly. £18,000 for a Category A listed property that once hummed with couture-level creativity. But here's where it gets controversial. The structure many architects hail as a late modernist jewel has been left to deteriorate for 2 decades, raising the question of whether we're witnessing an incredible bargain or a national heritage emergency in slow motion. A quick recap for newcomers. Klein, a Serbian-born textile visionary who passed away in 2014, forged partnerships with fashion giants such as Dior and helped put the Scottish borders on the global design map. When he needed a space that matched his forward-thinking spirit, he turned to renowned architect Peter Womersley. The result, completed in 1972, became both a workshop and a public exhibition space, a physical intersection of industrial craftsmanship and artistic daring. The building itself is a two-story concrete and brick composition that seems to hover above its woodland setting. Broad horizontal cantilevers stretch outward, floor-to-ceiling panes dissolve the boundary between interior and nature, and a brick-clad core, containing stairs, a kitchen, and restrooms, keeps the perimeter free for cavernous workspaces and storage. Influences from Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water and Mies van der Rohe's Farnsworth House are unmistakable, yet Womersley's design still feels uniquely attuned to its Scottish setting. Architectural critics have even dubbed it a modernist masterpiece of structural elegance integrated into its wooded landscape. And this is the part most people miss. Despite its protected status, the studio has endured more than 20 years of neglect. Cracked glazing, weather-beaten concrete, and encroaching vegetation threaten the very integrity that earned it Category A recognition. The auctioneers at Savills openly acknowledge the building's a run-down condition, but they also stress the immense potential for anyone ready to invest time, money, and passion. Supporters argue that the jaw-dropping price could entice a buyer willing to restore the studio to its former glory. Skeptics counter that the true cost of repairs will dwarf the purchase figure many times over. Should public heritage bodies step in before another irreplaceable landmark is lost? Or is the private market our best hope for revival? Over to you. Is this listing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity or a cautionary tale about Scotland's attitude to modernist architecture? Would you take on a restoration project of this magnitude, or do you believe the building should be preserved by the state? Share your thoughts, agreements, and disagreements in the comments. The debate starts now. Abandoned masterpiece. The race to save a decaying modernist studio. In a dramatic turn of events, a coalition of preservation and design organisations has embarked on a high-stakes mission to rescue a decaying modernist masterpiece in the Scottish borders, just as its owners have unexpectedly put it on the auction block. This late modernist studio, constructed in 1972 for the renowned textile designer Bernat Klein, whose fabrics graced the wardrobes of fashion icons like Coco Chanel and Jean Shrimpton, is celebrated as a crown jewel of late 20th century architecture. But here's where it gets controversial. Despite its A-list status and architectural accolades, the studio has been left to languish, vacant and in a state of severe disrepair, for decades. It's been on the Scottish Buildings at Risk register since 2002, a stark reminder of its neglected state. The owner's decision to auction the property has caught heritage groups off guard, who had hoped for a private sale. Now, they're rallying to raise funds, backed by the National Heritage Lottery Fund, to bid at the July 30th auction. The coalition, comprising the National Trust for Scotland, the Scottish Historic Buildings Trust, and the Bernat Klein Foundation, is determined to restore the studio to its former glory, estimating a hefty £2.5 to £3 million for the full restoration. The studio's current state is a heartbreaking sight, with broken glass, decaying timber, crumbling concrete, and barbed wire adorning the once elegant walkway. Professor Alison Harley, chair of trustees for the Bernat Klein Foundation, reveals that negotiations with the owners had been ongoing for months, making the sudden auction announcement all the more disappointing. The coalition, supported by the Architectural Heritage Fund and the 20th Century Society, envisions the studio's revival as a design hub and public education centre, managed by the foundation. Klein and Womersley's story is one of design and architecture intertwined, a 20th century narrative of innovation and friendship. The studio, nestled near Klein's home at High Sunderland, designed by Womersley in the late 1950s, is a testament to their collaboration. Womersley, a celebrated designer, drew inspiration from Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water, creating a structure that won a Royal Institute for British Architects award and is often listed among Scotland's finest modernist buildings. The studio served as Klein's creative sanctuary, where he crafted his fabrics, produced textiles, and entertained clients. The Buildings at Risk Register describes it as a very fine sculptural late modernist building, with bold horizontal cantilevers and finely framed vertical glazing, showcasing a monumental sensibility executed with sophistication and great attention to detail. Klein, a Holocaust survivor and a woven textile scholar, established his firm Colourcraft in 1952 in Galashiels, the heart of the Borders textiles industry. His designs, known for their abstract, colourful, and tactile qualities, attracted high-profile clients like Balenciaga, Dior, and Yves Saint Laurent, and he was a colour consultant to the UK government's Department of the Environment. Dr. Samuel Gallagher, director of the Scottish Historic Buildings Trust, acknowledges the uncertainty of the auction but sees the potential purchase as a significant milestone. This project can be a model for saving our modernist and brutalist buildings, adapting them to our changing climate and preserving Scotland's rich heritage of 20th century architecture, he asserts. And this is the part most people miss. The studio's rescue could not only preserve a piece of history but also inspire a new generation of designers and architects, showcasing the enduring relevance of modernist design in today's world.